Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well. I'm back today with my end of month completed videos for July. At the moment, I have been doing my end of month videos every second month because I'm not really getting that much done. I'm a bit of a slow colorist. So that's just the way I work. So this is for July and June. So I'll pack all these up and let's get on with having a look at them. The first page I'm going to show you is in Mythographic Labyrinth. This has to be my favourite page of this month. I really enjoyed this. I got to put some collage in there, and whenever I do collage, it makes my heart sing. So I really enjoyed doing this one. I started off this page by basing everything with Ohuhu alcohol markers. So absolutely everything on this page that you can see that's not collage is based with the markers. And then I went in with my Prismacolors just to add a little bits of depth. Also used gel pen to cover up lots of the lines. I wanted to bring in a little bit of fluoro in here because I really wanted this beautiful octopus to pop out of the page, and I liked that it matched the colors down here that I added. So what I did with my collage is I cut out the full back up the top here and added this in. So all this smoke and the lightning, I collaged that in there. And then I cut out this window down here and added in this little volcano eruption going on down here as well. So that fits in with what's going on at the top here. So there's like a volcano eruption in the ocean, and then the smoke's all coming out of the water up the top here. And then I decided to add something a little bit fun and cute. So I added these two Smurf guys here. I really liked the fact that they had the little bubble helmets on, so it did look like they were underwater. And I did cut around the inside out of the bubble helmets so you could see through, so it actually looked like they were a see-through bubble helmet. And I just had this little guy walking up here, and this guy looks a bit scared. I really enjoyed doing it, something different. I always love adding collage. It just makes it a little bit more fun. It does take more time, and it does take time away from me doing other pages, and that's probably why I don't get much done, but I really enjoy doing it, so that's what really counts. I also did my very first page in Serenaiya colouring book by Cristina, McAllister. It's got lots of beautiful pictures in here, and I just did this one here. I started the whole thing by basing it in alcohol markers. And then I wanted to make it look really quite earthy. So I went ahead and just coloured it in with really earthy tones. I did add these yellow stars in here to add a little pop of brightness, and a little bit of my glitter gel pens for the jewellery here, and just a couple of the dots in here as well. So on top of my alcohol marker, I went in with my Prismacolors again, also with a Posca just to add this fur in here. I also then went in with my Artex acrylic markers just to add a little bit more depth. So to do these trees here, these leaves, and I added some of it to here as well. And then I went in and made it a snowy scene because it wasn't a snow scene, but I decided I think it would look a lot more cooler if I could add some snow in there. So I just grabbed my Poscas and just put all the snow dots in there. I did make sure I put my finger on a couple of them to make sure they looked like they were more in the distance than the ones in the front, and I hope that worked. But I really like that one. I think it worked out really well. I really like how I did her face and her eyes. I also did my first page in this book here as well, which is Wonderful Houses in an Imaginary World by Mona. And I'm not 100% sure on this one. I'm not sure if I like how it turned out. What I did was I started off by doing everything with Inktense. And I use Inktense a lot because I find it to be really, really relaxing. One of the two things I like colouring with are acrylic markers that I find very relaxing, and Inktense I find so relaxing. So I coloured this whole thing in with Inktense, but then I thought it looked a little bit flat. So then I went in and added a little bit of Prismacolor, which is fine. But then before this does not have a sky. And I decided to put the sky in there, and I wish I would have left it white, because when it was all white, this popped a lot. Like it all popped out of the page, but it just kind of all goes into the page now that I did this. And for some reason, I don't know why I did this kind of sunset with the yellow in the background where the bus is yellow, and that's just me choosing the wrong colour. So that's what happens when you choose the wrong colour. So if I had a colour palette here, I think that would have been, even nighttime, it would have looked a lot better. But I do like it. What I really enjoyed doing was I really enjoyed the fact that I could make the interior any colour that I liked. So I've never really coloured in interiors before, and I really enjoyed making it like the colours that I think that I would like to have if I was living in a bus. So I try to make it look really old on the outside here, just by adding a little bit of the Inktense straight from the pencil. So instead of laying the Inktense down and then putting on the water, I would use the water and take it off the pencil like some paint, and then just added it onto here to make it look a little bit more rusty on all the things that I thought would look quite rusty. And then in this book, if you haven't seen this book, every page has a different house or a different interior and exterior of a house. And then right at the very back of the page, of the book, it has everybody that lives in each house. And I actually really like that idea. I love it. I'd colour it in and then I'll have a look and see who it was. And this is the person that was living in that house. So I've decided I'm going to colour these images in the same colour and with the same medium that I'm colouring their house in. And when I did come to colour this guy in at the end, I did realise that he definitely was not what I would be expecting to live in that bus. I was expecting it to be like a hippie kind of guy, but completely different. It was like a military guy. But that was a surprise, and I really enjoyed looking at this after I've coloured all that in. The next page I'm going to show you is a buddy colour with Elaine from Sapphire Colours. So I don't know if you follow Elaine, but what she's doing at the moment is she has got this book, which is Create This Book, but she's got Create This Book 2 by Maria Elizabeth. And what she's doing is she's going through the prompts, and she's using these prompts as inspiration to colour her pages, and she'll just take something from that prompt and that will prompt her to colour her page in a certain way. And I love the idea. And when I saw her video on it, I really quickly jumped in and asked if I could do a buddy with her, because I just think it's such a great option, because you can do different pages from different books, have the same prompt, but you could just read that prompt completely different and take it in a different way. But the prompt that we chose to do together was create a puzzle. So it can be anything you get from that prompt. So this is her page here. So what she did was, which was a really awesome idea, is she took a colouring page and then made it into a spot the difference puzzle. So she did 2 of them, put one on the computer and moved some things around a little bit and coloured them both in, used it as a spot the difference puzzle. I think that is a really, really great take on the prompts, and I honestly would never have thought of doing that. So I thought of the prompt in a completely different way. So I was thinking of more a jigsaw puzzle. So I did this page here. So what I did was I coloured in the whole background, and then I cut out puzzle pieces and wanted to make it look like, because this is like a bright sun, I wanted it to make it look like what is inside the sun. So in the puzzle pieces, you can see what's basically behind the first layer of the picture. So I've got this skeleton here, and he is burning fire behind the big fiery sun. So it worked out all right, completely different from what Elaine was doing, but that's what I love about it, because we both saw it in completely different ways. And I did struggle a little bit with the puzzle pieces. I ended up buying like a little stencil from Temu that had like little puzzle pieces on it. But then when I got it, I realized it didn't really work when I was trying to do the puzzle pieces. So I basically had to abandon that idea and I just did them myself. But it did work out well. I think it's something completely different I wouldn't have thought of doing, and I would have never done anything to do with puzzles if I didn't look at that prompt. So if you guys want to follow her, she's doing a whole series of her using those prompts. So I will link her profile below, and yeah, definitely check out her series that she's doing because there are so many different prompts. I think she's done about 3 so far, but they're really, really fun to watch. I've also got cuddly bears everywhere and oodles of other things, which is a bit of a basic book, but I thought I'd just give it a go for something fun. The paper's really good. It's like cardstock. So I basically just wanted to do it as a mindless colouring. I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. I'm just sitting in front of the telly and then just going for it. So I use lots of different things in here. I think I started off with Inktense, and so I based a lot of them with Inktense, and I went in with some Prismacolor, also went in with Inktense Dry as well. I've also got some Albert Dürer in there in places. I also used my gel pens, lots of different types of gel pens along here. I don't know if you can see some of the shine, but I did use some of my metallic markers, my metallic gel pens. And I wanted to add a little bit of fluoro in there, so I added a little bit of fluoro on lots of the elements just to make them pop a little bit. They were all the images were kind of going into each other, like it just looked very flat. So I got a black pencil and I went around some of the edges of some of the creatures. After a while, I got a little bit bored of doing that, so I just left it. But it really was only for a bit of fun and relaxation, and I think it's a pretty page and it's pretty cute. And I think you can look at it for a while and see lots of different animals in there. So, yep, it was a lot of fun to do, and I really like working on really thick paper that you don't have to worry about what you do. You can chuck anything at it. I also worked in Dreamland colouring whimsical worlds, and this is another first in this book. And this is a miss for me, I think. Some of the pages I did this month were hits and some of the pages were big misses. So I'm actually really frustrated with this page because what happened was I started off with the background. So I started off with this beautiful blend of colours, and I really liked this, like, you know, tealy green going into this orange. And then the more I looked at it, I thought it reminded me a lot of fire. So these kind of reminded me a lot of like flames and fire, and then the birds flying away. And that's the type of look I wanted to go for, but I think I did the birds in the wrong colour, and then they just kind of fall into the page. They don't pop out. I think if I did the birds in a different colour, it would have worked better. I did try and put a little bit of metallic marker in there, if you can see. Just to added more flames down the bottom there, added some flames down the bottom there to like make it look more fiery, and added the black dots to make it look like ash. I really want to work on it because this picture's like, if you look at it uncoloured, it's like an underwater and sky picture added together. So there's like the underwater reeds and then the coral, and then there's the birds coming up as well. So I did want to play on that a little bit as well. But, you know, it is what it is. I did find this beautiful colour blend from doing it, so I'll use that on another page as well. But the way I did do it is I started off with I think I started with alcohol markers. Yeah, so I started off the whole thing basing it with alcohol markers, and then I went over with some Prismacolor. I went in there with my Tooly Art paint pens just to cover a lot of the lines up. And this is all Tooly Art paint pens as well. I added some of these flames with metallic markers and these balls with metallic markers. The fluoro on the birds is also Prismacolor. And yeah, just a little bit of gel pen as well, just for the dots, because I wanted to add the dots at the end because I was trying to make those birds come out the picture a little bit better. And nothing I did was working, but you know what? You lose some, you win some. And I'm just glad that I did start this book because the paper's really nice and there's some beautiful pictures in there, and I'm looking forward to redeeming myself on another page in there. And then we have this book, which is, I got the little version because I got a Amazon Japan order. So I got the little version, and I'm not a lover of this one either. It's just this one here. So I did this little cat. I found this really difficult to colour in. There's like so much stuff going on. It's really tricky. But I once again used my Inktense just to do the background. I used the Inktense for lots of it actually. I used some gel pen and also some acrylic marker and Prismacolor. So I wanted to make it look like it was a lighter going out into dark. So that's that one. And then I'll show you another one I've started in here. I've started this one. I'm trying to do bright colours in here. I have found that just here is I've used my acrylic markers and used water to blend them out, and I found that this paper works really well with that. But I want this one to be a really bright coloured one. I want lots of things going on, but there is a lot of stuff going on in there, so it is a bit tricky to colour in. But I'm sure the more I colour in these books, the easier I'll find to be able to work out what's going on. So that's everything for this month. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if any of those are your favourites or you like any of them. And I'll be back next month, hopefully, or the month after with my other pages. But I will be back next week or the week after with some more exciting videos about other stuff. Okay, so until then, see you guys. Happy colouring.